Or was it the same?
It's a little different.
Okay.
That question I've really been struggling with because this is more about who I am, not who I was necessarily. This is save and spread. People will know that from there.
What prompted you to jump in the race?
I was asked by several friends to run for mayor, and I thought about it for a few days and said, yeah, this would be an opportunity. I have the time available since I am a full-time student. I'm not working, I'm unemployed, and so I do have the time available to contribute and to donate to the city to work as the mayor. I thought it would also be an opportunity to explore other options that may come about through my life, and it would also add to my resume.
You mentioned single-member districts, also discrimination. Any other things on your platform right now?
There are some other ones. Of course, sex education is one, dealing with the pregnancy rate that we have locally. There's other issues like that. I feel like right now it seems like the big ones are code issues in the single-member district, and I believe there's the sports complex that keeps coming up.
You have in here about the teen pregnancy rate.
Yes.
What's your stance on teen pregnancies in the Panhandle?
Well, one thing is too high. If we have teen pregnancies anywhere, it's too high. And one of the things that I've noticed is we keep talking about abstinence. Abstinence doesn't always work. Sex education does work. Talking to the kids, parents talking to their kids about sex works better. According to the survey I mentioned in there, they show about 75% of the kids that were talked to by their parents abstained from sex because they had the information available not to do it, not to participate. And they also, parents talking to them about safe sex, did not encourage them to have sex. It just gave them more information to deal with sex. And so, as a result, fewer participated in sex.
What about your views on the downtown revitalization? There's a petition drive underway. They're going to, matter of fact, hear about it next week. A group wants the downtown design plan, I guess, revoked. Where do you stand on that? Are you with this group that, by chance, wants to see these changes? Because they're also pushing for single-member districts.
Right. Some of the downtown revitalization that they've got, there are good ideas. Trying to come up with something to revitalize downtown is always good, because we do need it. Our downtown has been dying for a long time. And we've had a lot of businesses come in and try to make a stand and make a go of it downtown. Some of the revitalization issues that they've come up with, I wonder about in question. They're trying to make everything too uniform, I believe. And so that's one issue that does come up. There are a few others I've not really looked into that deeply or closely. I was just recently made aware that the petition is floating around. When you're a busy full-time student, you're too busy looking and reading books and not watching the news as much as you should. And I know that will come in as a question, well, if I'm too busy in schoolwork, how will I have time for the mayor? I will make the time, because the time will be needed. And I can split my workload between school and the mayorship.
Sandra, this is a very conservative community. I know we would like people to be tolerant, but is there the possibility that, I mean, do you feel concerned for yourself running for an office like this in a conservative community like this?
There are some questions, there are some concerns about that, but I feel like at the same time, I've not run into any issues yet, and I've been out and about as myself for 3 years now, and so it's not become an issue. The people who've had any issues either kept quiet, moved to the other side, or just avoided, approaching me or passing me by. I don't think I've ever had a negative comment in those 3 years here. The only negative comment I remember ever hearing was when I was in Las Vegas one weekend.
Obviously, we've got David Grisham's running, and he's had a very strong stance, anti-gay, anti-transgender sorts of things. And I wonder, was his candidacy part of the reason you're running?
I think that's the reason some people asked me to run, was because of that.
But what about your personal stance?
He is exercising his Second Amendment like I'm exercising my Second Amendment. I am putting my name in the hat to run for the mayorship. Some of the things he says I do wonder about, but he feels like he's in the right. So
Are you concerned that this campaign with him and you both in it could kind of turn into a back and forth, a circus, if you will, between one view and another?
it could turn that way depending on the news media and the citizens how they wish to make it. Myself, I'm not going to strive for that. I'm above that. I'm not going to stoop to the type tactics. There's one thing I do think that may come about with it. We may gain some national attention from this.
Is that what you're looking for?
Not really. It's just the fact that it may come about. That's one of the things we discussed when I was looking at running for office was, are we prepared to take on the national media? Because I feel like we may not get a ton of it like we did when Oprah was here, but we may get a little bit of it because of the circumstances.
And you're prepared for that?
Yes.
As long as we're doing political analysis, you and Grisham agree on certain public policy issues like the single-member district. We know that Paul Harpo doesn't. Do you think that you and Grisham risk splitting the vote and giving Harpo or kind of a better shot to get elected?
There's always that risk. There's always that possibility. Anytime you get three or more candidates, there's always a chance that the vote may get split one way or the other. The other two campaigns that ran in, there was 8 of us in each one of those categories, and one member always managed to pull more than half the vote. So as far as a major split like that, I don't think it's going to be necessarily that major of a deal. I would be surprised if it did, but I'm not expecting it to be. I feel the citizens will go heavily for one candidate or the other.
You mentioned earlier that this could be a first for Amarillo, and that I saw on your Facebook page your slogan is a mayor with a change. Do you think that in any way that's an advantage for you, that that's one of your draws for the public?
I think so.
Can you tell us a little bit about your qualifications for mayor?
I do have a previous experience in the business. I am working on my master's through the University of Rocky, so I have a bachelor's degree from Wayland. I have an associate's degree from Texas State Technical College. The years of business that I had, I do have some experience with business. I am a former city employee, so I understand the workings from the ground level of the city, and also understand the higher levels through owning businesses and through the college courses I've taken and the interviews that I've conducted with business owners through those courses.
How do you plan to conduct your campaign? Are we going to look mostly at the social network, or are you going to go run door to door?
Probably door to door and social network. Because my campaign fund is zero. So, unfortunately, I'm not like Mr. Harpo and has a war chest that kind of stifles me that somebody would spend that type of money for an office that doesn't pay very much. But that is his choice. I'm not down in that. It's just that that's quite a bit of money to spend, which is good for the economy because that means a lot of it's going to stay here locally.
Working for the city, did that kind of push you to run for mayor?
It was one of the things that helped me, prompt me to seek the election.
What was your position?
I was a shop foreman.
Shop foreman. And what kind of business did you own?
I owned Fort Williams Military Surplus and Salvage Depot. Y'all may recall that from last summer. My business partner was murdered there at the store.
And do you still own it now? Are you
No.
still? No.
Because of that, it was too much of a major shock and a setback, losing him, that it was closed.
Can you tell us when you became Sandra?
Kind of a long process. It's not one of those things that you just wake up one day and say, "Oh, I think I'll be a
Right.
girl today." So no, it's not like that at all. This is something that all of us that are transgender know that from a very early age. Mine was about age 3 and up through the years, and we struggled with it in different ways. The most common struggle is depression, and the other one is anger issues. And when I was able to finally start getting with a balance within myself, I started settling out quite a bit, and even my family noticed the difference.
So you're obviously very comfortable with who you are.
Oh yes, this is who I am.
Anything else?
What's your
That's
wife's
it.
name?
She asked that I not make that public, if that's
Okay.
okay. when I did talk to her about this campaign and said, and asked her, I needed to know what your thoughts are on this, because she's not very comfortable being in the limelight like I am. And so I said, that's fine, I will keep you out of the records. So in response to her request and respect for her, I asked that when I publicize that, if that's okay.
But does your family support your run for mayor?
Yes.
Generically, kind of?
Oh, yes. My daughter's really excited about it. She's eating it up.
How old is she?
She's 22.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, both my kids are grown and gone.
How many kids do you have?
2.
Yeah.
Son is 25, daughter's 22. She's all excited about it.
Thank you. Thanks. Nice to meet you.
Good.